I would imagine that we've all heard the phrase, ignorance is bliss. But just like we always do on this show, let's talk truth. Sometimes ignorance isn't bliss. Sometimes it's the thing slowly killing us, destroying relationships, ruining communities, and holding us back from the life that we say we want. Today, we're talking about something called willful blindness. We're going to talk about what it is, why we all do it, how it shows up in real life, and how to stop letting it ruin your life. This might sting a bit, is the truth. It might even make you feel uncomfortable or even angry. But if I'm being completely honest with you, that's the point. If you feel uncomfortable, if you feel angry, it probably means that you've been turning a blind eye to something you already know is there. Welcome to the Johnny Lawrence podcast. I am Johnny Lawrence. And today we're going to talk about willful blindness. But before then, I'm going to turn into a salesman. And I'm going to tell you about the release of my new course, the self-made course. I'm so proud of it. I really am. This has been years of work, and it's the first time that I've collected all of my work in one place. It's the first time I've invested a considerable amount of money to film it with beautiful videos. It's just been a huge learning curve. It's something that, I'm going to be honest with you, I've been afraid of, but I'm so proud to be able to sit here and say that I am proud of what I've created. This course is better than anything I thought I could ever create, to be completely honest. I remember sat with Ryan, the guy that filmed The Slavery of Addiction with me, in the editing studio, and he was editing it in real time and we were going through all the different parts of it. I looked at it and I felt emotional because I couldn't believe what I created. I got excited by the idea of how much this is going to help people. My work has impact on people. I know this because they tell me. It's spread over multiple podcasts and articles I've written and Instagram posts and talks I've done publicly and all of those different things. And this is the first time that I've brought all that together. It feels weird to say that. It feels like someone might go, all right, mate, like write your own reviews. But I am really proud of it. And I hope that you guys can give it a chance. I hope that you can continue to trust me on that next level of your self-development. It's one thing to listen to the podcast and follow me on social. I realize and recognize it's another thing entirely to go on a course and to take that leap. But I can promise you that it's impossible for you to do this course and not learn about yourself, to not be clear about what you want, to not really get an understanding of what drives you and drives your behavior, good and bad, and also not to be able to realize that you need to set up your environment to support the person that you want to become in the future. Part of that is very, very relevant to today's episode, willful blindness. Willful blindness is when you deliberately ignore something that you know is wrong, dangerous, or unhealthy because facing it would force you to act. It's not that you don't know, it's that you pretend you don't know. It's different. Legally, which is interesting, it's a term that's used in courtrooms. You can't avoid responsibility by saying that you didn't know about something, by deliberately avoiding knowing. If it's something that outside the courtroom is everywhere in everyday life and everybody knows about it, that you're doing it deliberately. And this is the point. Willful blindness, you're deliberately not knowing something or not learning about something because you don't want to know it for whatever reason. And that is the point of what I'm talking about here. Think of it like this. There's a dirty leaking pipe in your basement, or well, it sounds like we're in America, okay? There's a dirty leaking pipe somewhere in your house. You know it's there, you know it's getting worse, but fixing it means calling the plumber, paying money, and maybe tearing up some flooring or something like that. So you don't go down there, you don't go anywhere near this leaky pipe. You just avoid it. You tell yourself, it's fine, it's not that bad, until one day your house floods. That's willful blindness. It's not that you ignore it because you don't want to know it. It's that you don't want to know it because you'll have to do something about it. We do this in our relationships, jobs, addictions, finances, and our health, just to name a few things. We bury our heads in the sand because facing the truth feels scarier than living with the problem. Some everyday examples of this. This is what willful blindness would look like in real life. And this is harsh, so prepare yourself because there may be some of you listening that are in these situations. And I'm shining a light on that. And that will be difficult. That will bring up some emotion. And if it does, that in itself is very telling. You know your partner is cheating, but you tell yourself you're imagining it. You know your drinking is out of control, but you keep comparing yourself to someone worse so that you can feel better. You see bullying happening at work, but you stay quiet because speaking up might put you in the firing line and make you a target. You're drowning in debt, but you keep spending because opening your bank statement would be too painful. This is just a couple of examples, real life examples, things that are happening to people right now, all of the time, at any level, status, gender, religion, whatever it is that's going on in your life, whoever you are, these are things that can affect you. But there's also a bigger picture. Whole communities can be willfully blind. Think of industries that knew their products were dangerous. Tobacco companies, asbestos manufacturers, opioid makers. They saw the damage. They had the evidence. But they chose to look away because acting meant losing profits. And here is the gut punch. You're like, really? Needed the gut punch, did I? Willful blindness isn't about just avoiding pain. It's about avoiding responsibility. Because once you see something clearly, you can't unsee it. You have to do something. And doing something is hard. But here's the thing. The truth doesn't care if you're ready to see it or not. It's still there, waiting. And the longer you pretend to not see it, the bigger and messier it will get. So why do we do it? It seems so illogical, right? That we would just ignore this thing. But this is where we tap into our emotions. And here's the thing about emotions. They don't care about logic. Emotions know how to do emotions. And that's it. They're not thinking things through. They're not thinking, oh, that doesn't make sense. I shouldn't do that. They just know how to be emotions. And that's why they're so powerful. That's why we should listen to them. Because they tell us how we really feel. Whether we should feel that way or not is a whole different thing. But you do feel like that. And that's why it's so difficult when people are angry and they say they're not angry. Because they'll never really get to the bottom of it because they're gaslighting themselves. And guess what? When you gaslight yourself when you're angry, it makes you more angry. And this is why you get trapped in a cycle of anger and you say, I don't know why, I'm a really angry person. Everyone tells me I'm angry. I feel angry. I'm never going to be able to solve it. And it's just despair and overwhelm. And it feels like you're never going to get anywhere. But here's the thing, we're not stupid. We know when something is wrong, but we turn away for a few reasons. Reason number one, fear of change. If we admit the truth, we might have to leave that relationship, quit that job, confront that loved one. And that is understandably terrifying. Of course we're going to avoid that. Of course it's just going to be easier just to stay where we are in the familiar. It's not that bad. It'll be all right. I'm sure it'll change. I'm sure when the kids leave, everything will improve. I'm sure when he changes job or she changes job, everything will improve. Whatever it is. Maybe we need to go on a holiday. Maybe we need to have another baby. All of those things. This is what we do, all to avoid what we know in our heart. Next one could be loss of comfort. Facing the truth means discomfort, and we know that. We like our routines, even if they're toxic, because they offer us familiarity, and familiarity offers us comfort, as we've spoken about before. It's really, really hard. As human beings, we're not designed, neither do we want to, gravitate towards discomfort. We are always trying to get back to being comfortable, which is what is familiar, what we know, has no anxiety. What we know is attached to no anxiety, right? If we watch a film we've seen before and we know how it ends, there's no surprises there. But if we watch a film and it's all tense and you don't know whether the good guy's going to make it and they're going to die or people are going to die or whatever's going to happen, then we've got anxiety about it. And that's why we kind of enjoy the film in a weird way. The next one is guilt or shame. If we admit what's going on, we might feel stupid for not acting sooner. Whew. Look at that little trap you're setting for yourself. You are setting yourself up for shame and guilt. No thanks, I'll just carry on pretending it's not there and hope it solves itself. Because here's something that people don't realise. The only way to make change in life is to act, is to do something. Change is a doing word. But here's the thing, not doing something is a choice too. Sometimes when we want things to change in life, we have to make tough decisions. We have to make really difficult decisions. But here's the thing, not making a decision is a decision. It's a decision to leave it up to chance, which gives you no autonomy, no direction, no dog in the hunt, no say in what happens. That's a choice too. And then lastly, self-preservation. We convince ourselves that not knowing protects us. But here's the truth bomb. More truth bombs. Thanks, Johnny. Just what I needed. Avoiding the truth doesn't protect you. It just delays the pain and makes it worse when it finally comes. I told you some of this stuff would be hard to hear. And I want you to know, I'm not sitting on a pedestal here as, oh, big wise Johnny who knows it all, the guru of self-development. No, I've made these mistakes before. I will make them again because we are all human. But one of the things that helps me with my self-development is to gather as much information as I can so that I've got a better chance of being aware of these things when they come along. And that's all I'm doing here. That's all I'm ever doing. It's passing along things I know. I didn't make this stuff up. I don't claim to own it. It's just what I have learned. And unfortunately, a lot of my learning comes from mistake making and experiences, which comes with a bit of an ouch. So sometimes these things are hard for me to talk about too. So how do we stop being willfully blind? How do you take the blindfold off without being crushed by what you see? There are a few things you can do. The first one is ask the hard questions. When something feels off, don't shove it down. Ask yourself, if I knew the truth, would I do something different? And here's the trick. If the answer is yes, you already know the truth. That's willful blindness in action right there. Next one is check your justifications. Pay attention to the stories that you tell yourself to make something seem okay. As I said earlier, it's not that bad. At least it's not like so-and-so. That's your brain trying to protect you from reality. Get outside perspective. Sometimes you are too close to see clearly. You need that drone eye view of your life a little bit. So ask a trusted friend. Ask them what they see and prepare yourself for honesty. Tell yourself in that moment that you're not going to talk. You're just going to listen and just witness all of the compulsions within you to deny this and shut down that and justify this and justify that. Just observe them, look at them in action, realize what you are doing, see what you're doing, see that you are working hard to protect this illusion because you cannot stand the idea of the lie being true. And if you admit to the lie, if you see the lie, if you allow the lie into your life, you can't gaslight yourself anymore. You've seen it, you can't unsee it. It's difficult, so difficult. And then lastly, take one small step. You don't have to blow your life up in one day, but you do have to start. You have to make that call, book that appointment, open that bill, have the conversation, the difficult conversation, the one you've been avoiding, the one where you don't know where to start, the one that's going to be messy, the one that's unplannable. As soon as emotion comes into the room from either one of you, it's going to be uncomfortable. The first step out of willful blindness is deciding you'd rather live with the discomfort of the truth than the comfort of the lie. So, to finish this podcast, here's the uncomfortable reality. Willful blindness is a choice. And it's a choice we make over and over again until the consequences get so big that we just cannot ignore it anymore. You keep looking away, you keep pretending, but one day the thing you've been avoiding will break through your carefully built wall of denial. And when it does, it will not be gentle, it will be savage. And you will look to the sky and you will ask yourself, why me? Why is this happening? I'm a good person. It's nothing to do with that. The fact that you were trying to hold this thing back for a long time and all it was doing was generating power, ready to cause this destruction that you're living in right now. Now, I know that feels hard, making it your fault or making you have some responsibility. But here's the thing. If you have some autonomy in this, brilliant. Because if you're waiting for somebody else to change, that's going to be really difficult to happen. You've not got any control there, autonomy. You've just got hope. If it's on you, now you can do something. You can walk away. You can make that hard decision. You can cut the ties. Whatever it is that you need to do, it's time to do it. So ask yourself, what am I pretending not to see? And what would my life look like if I faced it today instead of waiting for it to explode tomorrow? That's where the real change lies, and that's where it starts. Thank you very much for listening to today's episode. I hope it's landed in the way that I want it to, which is compassionately, empathetically, but with a call to action. As always, live your morals, chase your ambitions, know what drives you, and set your environment up to support the person that you want to be. And if you need help with that, you could take my new online course, Self-Made. Self-Made stands for morals, ambitions, drivers, and environments. Your morals are, who are you? Know who you are so that you can make decisions with confidence. Ambitions, what do you really want? So that now you know what to do every day. If it doesn't bring you closer to what you want, then it's a no. And you can say no with confidence. Know what drives you. You're not always going to want to do these things. Even though they're what you want, you're not always going to want them every day at 100%. Some days, best you can get is 20. But you still need to know how to tap into that fuel, that drive. And lastly, your environments, the people, places and things that are either working and helping you towards your goal or tearing you down with their negativity, with their limiting beliefs, with their version of the world trying to pollute yours. The course has a 55-page growth workbook that accompanies 24 beautifully filmed videos, and the course guides you from where you are now to where you'd like to be in your future. Check out the link in the bio for more details, and I'll see you next week for another episode of the Johnny Lawrence Podcast.